Hey, welcome back into today's video. We're gonna be talking about something that, well, I just couldn't believe. Shane Dawson has hired Destry Smith to edit his podcast, and from what I've seen, very few people are talking about this. This is pretty significant, and I'm not gonna say that I'm surprised about this. If you guys are familiar with the coverage last year, Destry Smith was accused of grooming underage girls. Not just one, not just two, there was a lot. If you're unfamiliar, Destry Smith is an OG YouTuber with over 1.21 million subscribers. He's also known as Cap'n Destes. He also has a channel called Designate that was pretty popular. He did this channel alongside his former best friend, Nathan Owens, also known as Ahoy Nadio, and has also came out against him. Now, this was a pretty big deal when it first happened, and a lot of people could not believe it. And I couldn't believe like the sheer amount of young girls that were coming out against this guy. And when I did the interview with his former friends, the things that were revealed, man. I released a video about 1 year ago called Destry Smith is Gross. This video went into a lot of detail about the things that he was being accused of, and it also showed it was a heavy topic. Now, this expose came from TikTok when a user named Your Girl Audrey posted saying, now, initially with this TikTok, people wasn't sure if that was about Destry, but later posts came out that she was talking about Destry, so many assumed that this is what that was. Now, she does answer a question where it pretty much confirms that these are about Destry Smith.
Hi, no hate to this comment right here. I just kind of want to talk about what I've been like torn about, like saying who this is, because the only reason I've even thought about him is I saw one of his videos on my For You page. I was like, holy shit. This was a YouTuber that I'd been following since I was 12. His entire fan base is young girls, because he was cute, and like the only thing I'm going to say is he's emo. And I had gotten in contact with him because he had put his Snapchat up on Twitter late at night and said that it was for any of his fans who he wanted to talk to. He was bored, whatever, motherfucker. And so we talk, and not really talk, like, you know, he hits on me, and like he's like, oh, I'm like hard in the room with the guy I used to film videos with, and it was just very like kind of childhood ruining.
So it didn't take long for people to put two and two together that this was about Destry Smith. And then the avalanche of people, the girls that came out and told their stories about this guy. I'm gonna put some on the screen right here. Now, if you did take a moment to pause and read, you'll see that these stories are very similar in nature, and that they have a lot in common. Now, one of the biggest things that stuck out to me about this situation is it was alleged by multiple people that he had a huge collection of young girls' videos and pictures that he'd curated over the years. Of just inappropriate images that he keeps hidden, tucked away somewhere, that some of these could possibly be full of folders upon folders of underaged, inappropriate images. And if this is true, then that's reason enough for the FBI to get involved. One anonymous post said they added him on Snapchat when they were 12. Now they're 21, and sent a nice message saying, hello, like your content, and he sent back a selfie flirting, and then another one asking for inappropriate images. Another person saying, I experienced something similar to this when I was 12 to 13 as well. I was really excited he was messaging me, but felt uncomfortable and felt wrong when he started sending super flirty and inappropriate things. I stopped replying because of that. Another girl who was 15, 16 says Destry later asked her friend Cynthia if I was for Nathan and asked her if I was a virgin.
His email so we could message on iMessage. Talked all the time, like all the time, and I thought we were friends, like I thought it was super cool, whatever. And then one night, I remember very specifically, I was sitting in my room doing homework, and he texted me and asked if I could send him a video of me twerking. Anyway, so things kind of progressed from there. You know, whatever. There was one time that he had me send him some pictures, you know, so I sent him some pictures, whatever. and he texted me, oh, this is so gross, I shouldn't be laughing. He texted me back a photo of his bed sheets, of his bed, with on it, and said, ooh, look what you made me do, like, with a winky face. And I was like, okay. But either way, you can't send that to a 14-year-old, man. Like, look what you made me do. You shouldn't even send that to a fucking adult.
And just generally, I didn't think about the fact that he was older than me as much as he was, which he was in his 20s. I was 14. I was a 14 ill child, and I thought I was making a friend. I didn't go into any of this expecting things to turn out the way that they did. But then again, every time we talked, it slowly and slowly started to get worse. You know, just generally things a 20-something-year-old man should not be saying to a 14-year-old. I don't give a f*** who you are. That's a child. I was a kid!
So we would hang out and talk in his room, and then he kind of started, you know, getting all snuggly, and I was getting a little uncomfortable. I had no intentions of any activity because, I mean, I was a virgin, so I was just like, we're gonna snuggle and kiss or whatever. But yeah, I had no intentions of that. But he started getting a little handsy and a little weird, and then he would like just talk about his crazy ex and how lonely he was, and I felt bad, you know. So, and me being 14, I didn't have good judgment, and I was like, yeah, you know, whenever we can do stuff. And then he, you know, went on about how everybody has to show him paperwork to prove they don't have STDs when they, you know, do things with him. But I didn't have to because I was a virgin, and he seemed pretty excited about that.
So as you can see, there were multiple stories corroborating the fact that he was getting these types of things from these young girls. I also did an interview with his former friends. I'll put that in the description below. It also corroborates the fact that it did exist at one point in time, this collection of just terrible things.
He definitely blamed the hard drive thing on Nathan and made like a few comments about how Nathan had a hard drive of like child porn and with like every girl on it. He would just make comments about that every once in a while.
Right.
Yeah, and from my experience, I heard a completely different story where it was a friend of Destry's had made up the hard drive and essentially wanted to try, not necessarily blackmail him with it, but essentially try and tell people he had it and be like, yeah, it's like in a safe in his house or whatever. And so he always told me, oh, that doesn't exist. If somebody ever came into my house looking for it, there's like going to be a note in there that just says, oh, I see who my real friend is, which kind of goes back to the whole idea of him telling certain people like a small tidbit of information. And if somebody else finds out about that tidbit of information, then he knows who's talking to each other in the friend group.
A similar thing was going on where someone was trying to bring light to the Destry situation. And when I caught wind of it, I went to Destry because, you know, like he was a friend of mine. I like cared about him. And I was like, hey, like, is this true? Because if this is true, like, this is very damaging to your career. And I was like, there's mentionings of you having a hard drive with like CP. What is going on here? And then he told me, oh, I did have a hard drive, but when I turned 18, I felt gross about it, so I threw it away. And I always was like, okay, like, fair, I guess, still creepy.
Latin, I want to know about the situation where you actually visually saw this stuff on his computer. Can you explain that?
Yeah. Okay, so pretty much there was a time that I was at Destry's. I was sitting on the couch in his office, and I was just like drawing something, like making a t-shirt design probably. And Destry's like personal assistant or production assistant, whatever you want to call her, was in the room with him. And Destry is at all times of the day talking about girls and talking about vaginas and talking about sex, and that's all he knows how to talk about. So you just kind of tune it out after a bit. But I was picking up and hearing information as he's just talking about how his ex-girlfriend had the best vagina he'd ever seen. and he got my attention and showed me. He's like, "Hey, look at this," and he was scrolling through a big folder on his iMac and opened a video, and it's a video of his ex-girlfriend masturbating. And then him and his production assistant, just that's all they would talk about, and was like bragging about how good she looked. And then he like closes the video out, and I can just see that it's like quite a large folder with a lot of content in it.
This interview went in depth and talked about a lot of things, including improper animal care, a 13-year-old, cheating situations, and a lot more. This was a very public thing, and everyone knew about this, but it didn't matter to Shane Dawson, because apparently someone asked me to speak about this, saying that Shane Dawson has hired Destery Smith.
Fantastic. Honestly, everything that you think you know about Shane is exactly right.
2 weeks ago, Shane Dawson posted on his community tab on his second channel, Shane 2, big announcement. Starting 2023, the podcast will be weekly. Thank you, Destry Smith, for editing today's podcast. I'm so grateful we met in 2008, and I'm so excited to work with you and your new company, Triangle Face Productions, in 2023. I hope you guys are enjoying the new episode. I'm so excited I might puke in a good way. I am not excited and I might puke in not a good way. One user comments saying, "Shane, there's literally no way you haven't heard about this man's countless allegations. He even made videos partially taking responsibility. Please delete this and stop contact with him." Another saying, "For someone who claims not to be interested in harming children, you sure have a lot of friends around you who groomed and destroyed minors' lives."
I am constantly sorry about the person that I was, and I'm constantly saying sorry for the person that I was, constantly trying to distance myself from the person that I used to be even 5 years ago. And truthfully, I think I've come a long way.
This was something I brought up multiple times a year ago, and as you can see from the first video I did about Destry, when I found out that he had an involvement with Shane Dawson, I wasn't surprised. Google says he's an American YouTube musician, vlogger, best known for his comedy series WTF5 on fellow YouTuber Shane Dawson's channel. Well, I'm just somehow not surprised at the affiliation there. On Twitter, his tweets are protected. On Instagram, that's privated too. I wonder why he privated his accounts. I don't know, I just found it kind of weird that Shane Dawson is in connection with Destry Smith as well. He's also in connection with Jeffree Star, and connection with James Charles, and in connection with... Alrighty then. So as you can see, surprised I was not. Shane Dawson's had his fair share of interesting controversies involving children in some alleged things that are not good. And so Destry Smith is working for Shane Dawson, editing his podcast, and while Shane Dawson's also reworking with Jeffree Star. So the circle of connections is very interesting here. So Shane Dawson's involved with Jeffree Star, who was at one point in time involved with Dahvie Vanity, who, if you're not familiar who that is, link in description. And then Destry Smith is also thrown into the mix. So all of these individuals all have been at one point in time wrapped up in controversies, including the endangerment of children in some sort of way. And I do have to say alleged, because no one wants to get sued. So I want to pause for a second right here, because we are doing a fundraiser to help survivors in difficult situations. We're currently at $671 of 1,000 raised, so we're actually very close to meeting that goal. And if you feel like this is something that you want to support and you want to donate to help us reach that goal, let me know if you have donated in the comment section below, and I really appreciate that. We have about 54 days left, so I have no doubt that we're going to meet it and exceed it. So just generally, I wanted to make this video to bring this back up, because I feel like it's important that you guys understand the severity and the depth of what this is, because essentially it is Shane Dawson, in my belief, putting his viewers, his fans, in danger by platforming these types of dangerous people. At least by raising awareness about it, you're going to know what to watch out for. You're going to be able to tell your friends. They're going to be able to know what to watch out for, and that's going to help a lot. I hate to see this. I can't believe it. It's the grossest thing that I've ever seen. Well, at least this year so far. I think there's been some gross things. But that being said, it's interesting as there's always something more interesting to me. That's right, you guessed it. I want to know what you think. So why don't you go ahead and leave your creative and interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up, feels like, as always, brothers and sisters. I will see you in the next video. I know it's been a second since my last upload. I took a break. did some mental health stuff to free the mind. But I'm back now. I'm feeling good. Let's get some positivity turtles in the chat. Walls and walls of green. Love to see it. Also want to thank my patrons. I appreciate you guys' continued ongoing support. We're going to do a patron live stream this week. I got a bunch of stuff to bake, so we're going to be doing that. If that's something that interests you and you want to support the channel and get your name at the end of my videos with these guys, the link will be in the description and I'll put it in the pinned comment. So check it out, see if that's something for you. Yeah, that's just another show that you're repping. If you're not repping, you're Greg, and hey, do the other subscribe, notifications turn on, be in the comment section to every single video, because I'm going to be there. Greg the Cat's going to be there in spirit, and the rest of the Repzilla community as well, and I expect to see you there too, because this channel loves you. Woo! I'm tired. I'm tired of these people. What?